Hey everyone, hope you're well, and today I wanted to talk about Dana White. I would say Dana White's very polarising. Some people love him and some people hate him. I personally think he's a bit of a wanker and a dickhead, to be honest. But in that job, how can he not be sometimes? But he had made some stupid comments in the past about Chris Cyborg looking like Vanderlei Silva in a dress. Even at the time, I thought that was stupid. And I remember the time where he said women would never fight in the UFC, but as soon as he saw Ronda Rousey, he completely changed his tune on that, didn't he? And I would say Ronda was the first actual big mainstream crossover. Obviously, you had people like Tito Ortiz, you had people like Chuck Liddell, but I don't think he was actual mainstream. Like Ronda was mainstream, wasn't she? And over the years, he's definitely mellowed out quite a lot. Obviously, the UFC has been bought. The UFC have new owners now, and obviously he'd had to change his personality a lot. Cause I guarantee you, if the Fitino brothers were still running the UFC, we would see the old Dana. Cause obviously him and the Fitino brothers are friends. I probably got the pronunciation all wrong, so apologies for that. But if they were still running UFC, I think we'd see a lot different Dana White. He very rarely calls out fights nowadays. Like back in the day, if a fight was shit, he used to call it out. But nowadays he doesn't really call out the fights as much as he used to. And as I say, I think the new ownership had a lot to do with that. And I think when he retires or when he leaves, I think the UFC will be missing something. Because Dana White is a personality in himself. Obviously, he's had rivalries with some of his own fighters. Obviously, the most famous one is Tito Ortiz, and obviously we could get into fighter pay, but that's a whole nother story for another video. But as a whole, I think Dana White has been good for the sport. Because if you don't forget, before Dana White and the Fitino brothers bought it, nobody wanted to buy the UFC because it was seen as human cotton fighting, and it was banned on pay-per-view. And when they first bought the company, they were losing millions just doing shows, and then they had the season 1 of The Ultimate Fighter, and then Dana did that legendary speech, "Do you want to be a fucking fighter?" And then obviously they went from there. And as I said, Dana White, he's probably a bit of an arsehole. Obviously I don't know him, but the vibe I get from him, he does seem like a bit of an arsehole. But as I said earlier, in that role, you kinda have to be. And let me know what you think about Dana White. And thank you for watching, and I will speak to you later. Thank you for the support.